So you are a walking magnet. You are the presence of all that is, and you are drawing unto yourself in any given moment a right and perfect match for what you're putting out. There is a quantum field, and you are vibrating at a particular resonance, and everything that is a match of and for your resonance is coming towards you. So if you like what you got, congratulations. And if you don't, what are you waiting for? You are the one. You are the one you've been waiting for. Right where you are is the presence of all that is. You are consciousness expressing in the manifest realm. So there are 4 objectives for our time together today. If you repeat these, the life that you will have will be extraordinary. Number 1, drop the drama. In fact, if you only do number 1, the life that you will create will be ridiculous. So number 1, drop the drama. Number 2, align with your infinite capacity. There's a choice point there, to align with your infinite capacity or to align to your finite capacity. Either one will produce a particular outcome. Drop the drama, align with your infinite capacity. Walk in expectancy of that which you desire. Walk in expectancy of that which you desire. Walk in expectancy. Walk in expectancy. Here's the thing. You are already walking in expectancy. You're always walking in expectancy. The operative part of this is that which you desire. I won't complain to get out of the addictive nature of complaining means that you have resisted survival consciousness and you've risen up into the high altar of consciousness where possibility exists. Possibility does not exist in the survival states of consciousness. Probability exists there. So if you would like a probable future, you should walk in an expectancy of the lowest vibration of consciousness you're comfortable with, which, by the way, is what most human beings do. So drop the drama, align to your infinite capacity, walk in expectancy of that which you desire, and be ready. Be ready. Be ready for your desires. Be ready, be ready, be ready, be ready. Are you ready? My daughter is in town from New York. She's on spring break. And she's in a program where she's becoming a singer-songwriter producer. And she went with me to Santa Barbara this week where I was on a board retreat. And she was sitting around the dinner table with really accomplished human beings, Michael Beckwith and many others. And she said, my teacher said, keep creating. If you're someone who wants to build chairs, not every chair you build will be a throne. Some of the chairs you build will be a stool. But keep building chairs. Don't wait for inspiration. Be ready now, because now is all we have. This now moment. So drop the drama, align with your infinite capacity, walk in an expectancy of all you desire, and be ready. Be ready to receive. My talk title today is Still Your Mind and Watch the Universe Surrender. And I want to explore the word surrender for a minute. The etymology of the word surrender comes from this notion of giving up, delivering over, giving back. can you imagine that the universe is wanting to give back all the time? The universe is wanting to deliver all the time. So then why do we live in a gap of that which we have and that which we desire? My experience is that we live in that gap to the extent to which we indulge our neuroses. So when you live in a vibration of complaint, what you don't have, the universe is giving back all that you desire. That's what you declared. I don't have this, and so it is. The law is impersonal. It always says yes. There was a beautiful verse by Lao Tzu, to the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. What is stillness in the mind? It's quiet. It's not moving. The mind's stillness will yield to you a level of receptivity that will actualize the desires of your heart to the extent that the mind is still. We spend, as human beings, so much time in worry and conflict, we often don't even know who we are apart from that. We don't know who we are as infinite beings apart from our obsessive, neurotic, addictive tendencies. This is a mental discipline. It's a mental practice. If you have a particular desired life, keep creating. Keep creating. Sometimes you'll end with a throne. Sometimes you'll end with a stool. Keep creating. From your still space. Stillness does not mean a lack of activity. Stillness is a consciousness from which we come. So when I am coming from my neurotic state, I attract neurotic experiences. When I am coming from my still state, I create a reservoir of possibility. On Monday, as I was flying out to California, well, let me back up a minute. On my vision board, I have a picture of Oprah, and it's her super, as does like half the world, right? I get it. I totally get it. Nothing special there. But it's a particular picture of her launching her Super Soul Conversations podcast. And I don't know why I was drawn to that picture per se. You know, when I think about the future I desire is not exactly being interviewed by Oprah. I would not turn down that opportunity, but that's not like the highest idea of my life. In fact, people always ask me, when are you going to put out a book? When are you going to put out a book? I love to write. I'm a great writer, but putting out a book doesn't excite me other than it seems to be a vehicle by which to have a greater impact on the planet. So I have this picture of Oprah interviewing, I don't even know who, on Super Soul Conversations, which is her podcast, which I highly recommend. And as I was on the plane, you know, like few minutes to download anything before the plane takes off, and I look through the conversations, and I'm like, Jack Canfield. I'll listen to Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield is the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Jack Canfield is the author of a book called Success Principles, a number of other books. You'd know him if you see him, if you can't think of him. And I was like, man, I've always loved him. He's just a steady presence. So I downloaded that podcast, and I was listening to it for the first 45 minutes of the flight, and I was like, man, that was some good spiritual food right there. And I just was sitting in the field, the resonance, the vibration of the conversation, like, When you listen to music or when you witness brilliance, do you revel in it? Do you allow yourself to like bathe in it? Oh man, yes, yumminess. You know, it's like, do you give yourself a somatic experience, moving out of the mind into the body? One of the sexiest things to see is someone in their genius, right? So I get off of that, and I'm like, that was just delicious and beautiful, and something in there for me, and, you know, da-da-da. 48 hours later, I'm sitting at this house in Santa Barbara. There are 10 people staying in this house. And the woman who's organized the whole thing says, I've invited a couple guests for dinner. I'm like, okay. Happens to be Jack Canfield and his wife. That is the quantum field. Now, the point is not, what can I get from Jack? I mean, for me, I could care. I mean, Jack Canfield, wonderful, beautiful human being, but like sitting with him at dinner is not like, it was more a demonstration where you'd start to notice the mind, when it is in its still, grounded, powerful state, attracts unto itself that which is a resonant match. So for me, staying in the house with Michael Beckwith, who I first heard when I was 20, and was brought to tears because this man was who I was to be on the planet, that truth, that vibration of truth. Sleeping in a house with him and having dinner with he and Jack Canfield is a demonstration of the law, of the infinite field of possibility. There is something that is stirring in you that you are uniquely here to birth. And the moment you say yes to it, the world starts to organize according to the nature of your beliefs. So if the nature of your beliefs says, I'm receptive, I'm available, you become a resonant match. If you see that which you desire being fulfilled by others, and you start to become irritable and agitated, and you start to feel sorry for yourself and develop the neuroses of lack and limitation, or if you are fixated on what you don't have, you will have more of what you don't have. This is the basic premise of this community and this teaching. I believe it is the greatest access to liberation. If you want to live a liberated life, if you want to be someone that invites others into a liberated frequency, start living as if the entire universe is conspiring for your good. Because guess what? It is. There is nothing, no thing that is occurring or has occurred in your life that hasn't been divinely organized for your highest and holiest unfoldment. Everything that has occurred in your life is rightly organized for, you have two choices, your expansion or your contraction. So imagine if you were in a wondrous, curious state with everything that is occurring going, how is this for me? 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 This is what I introduced the series with this month. Before people can realize the truth, which is to free them from conditions, they have to eliminate all thought that is negative as a race suggestion and as an auto-suggestion. Remember, race suggestion is the collective consciousness. It is the collective consciousness of your family. It is the collective consciousness of your community. It is the collective consciousness of humanity. Eliminate all negative thought of race suggestion. Auto-suggestion is your personal consciousness, your individual consciousness, the narrative that is speaking in you all the time. And if you aren't awake to it and able to witness it, you're seduced by it, you're in a trance of it, you think it's real, and then you're at the effect of it. From the standpoint of the race suggestion, they must erase from their mentality any beliefs within that they are born with a limited condition. If you erase any belief within you that you are born of a limited condition, watch your life explode. There is nothing limited about you. There is nothing limited about me. Only to the degree that I subscribe to a limited context. They must realize in its place that they have a spiritual birth born from an infinite source, that they are now living in it and filled with limitless life and boundless freedom. You are filled with limitless life and boundless freedom. Move your body just a little bit. Shift where you're sitting right now. You are limitless life and boundless freedom. Wherever you are experiencing a stuckness in your life, whether it's in your intimate relationships, whether it's in your finances, whether it's in your physical body, there has been an agreement that you have made at the level of autosuggestion that you are finite. There is nothing finite about you. Nothing. You can go further than that and cease suggesting to your own self unconsciously. Well, I just said that, in my own words. Did you hear it? Yes. Okay. Your own self, unconsciously, any auto-suggestion that you are limited. That is the big lie in the human experience, that there is a finite well of resources. There is a finite well of energy. There is a finite capacity for you to create. There is a finite capacity for you to love. There is a finite capacity for you to be generous. And so it is. If who and what you are is infinite, if who and what you are is glorious, if who and what you are is a magnet, then bring forward to you all things good. There is no value in complaining. There is no value in worrying. There is no value in fretting. There is no transformational context, no transformational capacity to worry. So when we are worrying, you're actually producing an auto-suggestion of a future you desire. When you are sitting in the brokenness of who and what you have, you are affirming a future desire. So when you are sitting, I'm going to say that like 7 different ways. When you're sitting in the not enoughness of your partner, when you're sitting in the not enoughness of yourself, when you're sitting in the not enoughness of your job, when you're sitting in the not enoughness of your money, when you're sitting in the not enoughness of Chicago, when you're sitting in the not enoughness of Donald Trump, you, my friend, are creating a powerful future of not enough. That's it. So if you were to live a life, if I were to live a life of radical responsibility, and if we were to agree that consciousness creates, remember, we're using a definition of consciousness, which is mental awareness. Mental awareness creates, you could say. So whatever your mental awareness is, it's creating. You don't like what you have, you're a brilliant manifester. If you have something in your life that you like or you don't like, congratulations! You did it! You did it! Consciousness created through you! Wow! Wow! Broke down car, congratulations! Broke down relationships, congratulations! I'm not being flip about that. That is the law. The moment we wake up to our infinite capacity to create, we will start to experience greater and greater harmony and alignment. So of course I'd be having dinner with Jack Canfield 48 hours later. Because my capacity to create transcends time and space. There is a vision that you caught at some time along your life, many visions that you've caught, and it was so real in you. Don't leave it alone. Keep breathing into it. When I got the hit at 20 that I was here to do whatever that guy up there on that stage named something kind of Michael Beckwith, agape, and I got the hit, that's who I'm here to be. That wasn't your self-aggrandized self. See, because that's what the neurotic mind will say. You got a hit, but you're being too big for your britches. You got a hit, but you can't really trust yourself because you need some power source outside of you to really, bless all that you desire. And the extent to which you outsource your security to some deity, you have lost sight of the big idea. Consciousness creates through you. God comes to know of itself through you. You're here for such a small time. 13.8 billion years since the Big Bang. You got about 95. And you're going to waste it. I'm going to waste it doing anything that doesn't bring me aliveness. Doing anything that is out of alignment with my high and holy expression on the planet? What? The condition that we have on the planet right now is the outpicturing of thwarted visions. That which we have on the planet right now is the outpicturing of many thousands of human beings, thousands of years of human beings saying, I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice my high and holy idea for what? There is a big idea for your life. God only knows of itself through you. Consciousness only knows of itself through you. Life only knows of itself through you. You are it. It's your movie. We've all shown up. How do you want it to go? How do you want it to go? Look, this is how it's said scripturally. And can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? You have to put these words in your voice so you can hear it, because guess what? We're always projecting ourselves. So the God that you believe in is a projection of your world of beliefs. So if you believe that you're broken, then you would need an externalized God that has to save you, because you of your own self are nada. But if you get that you are consciousness and form, then you would be available to hear a master teacher like Jesus speaking truth, not creating himself as some deity that's separate and above you. That's some crazy nonsense that has led to the suffering of humanity for thousands of years. This guy said, come on now. How is worrying going to make any difference? Come on now. Worrying makes no difference. My son is in the final 3 weeks of waiting to hear from college acceptances. Let me tell you what a waste mother worry is. A waste. He's already gotten into 2 of 12 schools. He got a nice bit of money. He's going to hear from 10 more schools, and it's going to be what it will be. In consciousness, he's been creating since the moment he pressed in. Pressed in. Not born, pressed in to this dimension of reality. And I waste my time, my energy, my love worrying. I have a spreadsheet. Ooh! that I could show you. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And there's value there. But who am I being with that spreadsheet? Who am I being with my son? Am I living in a consciousness of possibility, of creativity? Am I living in a consciousness knowing that he is a divine emanation of all that is, walking on the planet at this now moment, here to disrupt any old states of consciousness, just as each of us are, and the right and perfect school with the right and perfect money will show up to give him the right and perfect path? That is true for you, for me, for all of humanity. Eckhart Tolle says it like this: you are the consciousness out of which everything comes. You are the consciousness out of which everything comes. So what is the consciousness that you are subscribing to? If the consciousness is that life is hard, if the consciousness is that some have and some have not, that the consciousness is that I have a limited supply and I have to hoard it, protect it, watch it, if the consciousness is someone's out to get me, if the consciousness is, my daughter called me the other day and she said, Mom, there's this job I think I'd be really great for, but it says on there you have to have a college degree. And I said, what does that have to do with anything? Well, no, but I don't have a college degree, and the thing says you have to have a college degree. I don't have a college degree. Every job I've ever applied for said I had to have a college degree. What does that have to do with anything? Your limitations are self-imposed. My limitations are self-imposed. And there are many conversations on the planet that could easily seduce you into a notion of limitation. The choice is yours if you co-sign. The choice is yours if you want to take out that promissory note. You've signed over your power to some set of beliefs. Let us be clear if they're yours or if you inherited them. Let us be clear if they're yours or if you're asleep. What do you want in your life? What do you want in your life? Consciousness creates through you. I think that if I could make any recommendation for myself, first and foremost, and for anybody who wants to practice, is really to anchor this Lao Tzu guidance. To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. I made a commitment the 40 days leading up to my 40th birthday that I was going to put alcohol aside and not do refined sugar. Wow, the mind gets very active. I mean, I have had all kinds of conversations with myself about how ridiculous it is that I made this commitment. I don't even have a drinking problem. Why did I say no alcohol? And now I said it in front of all these people. And I've been thinking about a really brilliant email I could send out to my email list about the wisdom that I got that, I didn't have a full body yes to that. I said yes anyway. And here I want to take this as an opportunity to talk about full body yes and why it's like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. That is not the stillness of mind that Lao Tzu speaks of. So for me to go, wow, okay, take a breath. Take a breath. What are you here for? What's the gift you've been given to walk on the planet with? What is the contribution that you are here to make? Still your mind and watch the whole universe surrender. Still your mind and watch the whole universe surrender. Still your mind and watch the whole universe surrender. Watch the whole universe give up to you that which you desire. The universe is here. God is here. Life is here. Spirit is here. Whatever you want to call it. It goes by many names, but it is a generous presence, always giving, always giving, always giving. You know, I've struggled with the word want. Makes me a little crazy when people talk about God wants. But I was sitting with the word wants this week, and you know, that would when you have a flag like that, like you're like, wow, a meditation on the word wants. Yeah. If something's getting your attention, that's wisdom for you to pay attention to. The word wants was getting my attention. So then I want to research the word wants. The word wants, the etymology of the word wants is impulse. Can't help itself. That's actually what that word means. Can't help itself. So I can now get with God wants. See, because when I would hear God wants, I'd think of some man in the sky that's got like some human construct of what you should have, and that would trip me up. But if I understand what the word wants means, which is an impulse, it's its nature, it knows nothing other than, then God knows nothing other than to give. God knows nothing other than to be generous. Remember, the idea here is a practice of oneness. So if you are one with this high and holy presence, the source and back of all things, and its nature is to give, then how might you experience oneness with that? How might you experience an expression of freedom as that? So I posted a video on a bunch of Facebook groups. If you're not part of the Bodhi Spiritual Center community group, you won't see it, but we're happy to add you if you invite yourself. If you're in the mastermind group, I posted it there. If you're a leader here in our care structure, I posted it there. It is an old school, hour-long, slightly distorted visual experience of Michael Beckwith doing a PBS special. It's called The Answer is Within You. It is good. It is the thing that you want to be feeding yourself all the time, a consciousness of possibility. One of the things he says in there is take an inventory of every good and perfect thing you already have. The universe matches your awareness. Take an inventory of every good thing you have. Go on a worry-free diet. Go on a worry-free diet and become highly related to all that you have. And then he says, ask these 3 questions every day. How can I grow? What can I give? And how can I celebrate? How can I grow? Curiosity, wonder. How can I grow? What can I give? And how can I celebrate? That is a particular state of consciousness that will create a particular future. Finally, I want to share with you about a community member who came out of Bodhi. I want to celebrate, and this is, again, the way consciousness creates. We set an intention that Bodhi is not a local experience. There are 300 people that sit here on Sundays, but there are thousands of people that plug in all around the world. We have Sonia visiting from Germany here today. And there was a woman that used to come to Bodhi named Karen Frost. And Karen Frost had a dream, and all her friends knew her dream, to go to LA and be a TV producer. And Karen would talk about it all the time. But Karen would never move on it. Karen would just talk about it like a future idea, not like a right now experience. That's the difference. When you create a future, You'll never have it because it's out there somewhere, hopefully, and I don't have it now. That's consciousness. And so when Karen met her now wife, her wife's friends said, Karen keeps saying she's going to go to LA. It's probably not going to happen. I know she told you that, but she's been saying that for years. And one day, Karen said, no, I'm going to LA. And so she went out there for some kind of an audition, like a pitch fest or something like that. And they said, well, we can give you this job, but you have to start tomorrow. And she was like, I can do that. I can start tomorrow. And now Karen is in LA, and she works for Viola Davis at Juvie Productions. And this is what she said. She said, Bodhi gave me the tools to release the fears preventing me from moving to Los Angeles to become a TV producer. I learned to have faith that my life is always unfolding perfectly, regardless of any unpleasant experiences that arise. Bodhi inspired me to commit to retraining my mind to expect my dreams to come to fruition. Now I'm living a more joy-filled life than I ever imagined. So when I met with Karen on Friday, we had lunch with a friend of hers, this guy named Ray Hogan. And Ray Hogan worked as a consultant at IBM. In 2009, 8 and 9, when the market crashed, he was given a couple options, none of which involved staying at IBM. Now, he was miserable at IBM, but had the crash not occurred, he may still be at IBM. So you can see how all of life is organized for some higher and holier expression. So he took a severance package, and he said, I'm gonna do TV in LA. People were like, TV? Yeah. At 29, he took an unpaid internship, and he just worked his way up the chain, so to speak. He now works at Spring Hill Studios, which is LeBron James' production company. Who knew LeBron James had a production company? And he's like a total boss. And I sat there with he and Karen, and I said, Karen, did you know he shares your interest in consciousness? And she said, oh, well, he doesn't really know it's called consciousness, but everybody in LA is into that. I was like, oh, really? She said, yeah, they get that in order to create an unexpected future, you have to believe in a high idea now. So I don't know who you're here to be, but you do. You know who you're here to be. And there is nothing getting in the way of you being that. And this planet needs more of you. So please, beloved, allow consciousness to create through you. Lay down your small sense of self. Lay down your worry and rise up into the high altar of consciousness. LeBron James' production company is named after the projects he grew up in. There's nothing getting in your way. It's just you. All right, peace, many blessings.